I told you that speedsters had their very own Grim Reaper, this is the time that Wally Wast outran death itself. All of this begins with a small Flash family reunion, and while Max Mercury wants to try and capture the moment, he immediately afterwards starts to notice something a little strange about the Polaroid. But minutes after they all go their separate ways, we see Wally catching up with Jay and asking for some advice. Because 3 minutes ago, he bought an engagement ring, and tonight, he's going to ask Linda, the love of his life, to marry him. Meanwhile, Max finally realizes what's been bothering him about this photo the entire time, and he immediately goes to Jessie and begins to explain it to her. See, there's a small black blur that shows up just behind Wally's head in the picture, and Max has seen this before. He's caught it just out of the corner of his eye in moments where he thought he wasn't going to make it. It's a phenomenon that him and Jay both have referred to as the Black Flash. He explains to Jessie that death takes many faces and many forms, but for speedsters, it's the Black Flash that's waiting for them at the end of their race. Jessie and Max immediately begin to search the world over to find Wally and eventually catch him. And the strangest thing happens. Max notices that the blur in the photograph is now gone. Wally immediately, of course, wants to know what's happening here, and Max explains how the specter of death was hovering just around him, and them stopping Wally from whatever it was he was planning to do must have saved his life. Wally tells them that that's ridiculous and highly unlikely, unless Linda was planning on telling him no and him dying of embarrassment. Then, suddenly, it hits him. He's supposed to have met Linda 30 seconds ago. If he was destined to die, he's not there to protect her. But as he begins to rush and race as fast as he can, Scarlet Speedster arrives seconds later to see that he is too little, too late. Linda's funeral amasses thousands of visitors, including superheroes and villains alike. All of that pageantry meant nothing to him. 6 weeks later, we see that Wally's life has completely fallen apart. He's selling his house. He's moving out of the country. He's no longer the Flash. Hell, he can't even access the Speed Force. But before he can leave, in the airport, time begins to stand completely still. Wally quickly realizes the Grim Reaper hadn't taken enough from him yet. One by one, death always catches up to the fastest man alive. Their speed could not save them. Jay Garrick arrives out of nowhere and sweeps Wally away from death's clutches. Maybe family can. Jay locking Wally in a storage closet for his own protection. The rest of the family quickly getting to work, narrowly avoiding death's touch. Eventually, during their long battle in between seconds, we see Jay Garrick managing to slam the Black Flash into an oil tanker outside. Hearing this explosion all the way inside, Wally knows that one of his friends, one of his family, has just fallen, and he asks himself, was Linda not enough? He says that this is all his fault, screaming through tears and pain. He asks this monster to leave his family alone. While Jay is barely hanging on to life, the specter of death is left completely unfazed. All of this pain, this rage, frustration, all of these emotions that Wally is feeling begin to reconnect him to the Speed Force. Then, just like that, the Scarlet Speedster takes off and runs like he's never ran before. Now the Black Flash sees him going by and finally has his target back in his sight. The backdrop of the race changes every fraction of a second. All of this time that Wally has spent unconnected, these 6 weeks, he's rested and he feels more rejuvenated than he's ever been. He feels faster than he's ever been. But see, the world isn't a big enough track for the race that Wally has in mind. Seconds later, we see him leaving the 20th century behind. Then, 50 million years in the future, a black dot comes into focus behind him. 800 million years later, Wally begins to get a little distracted when he realizes that there's enough of his own descendants to populate an entire solar system now. Black Flash gained a little distance. It realizes Wally's plan and is desperately trying to cling on. 2 billion years later in their race, Earth then falls away to dust. Stars turn cold, and just as they do, he feels Death's hand slowly reaching out, touching the hairs on the back of his neck. Then, they're literally out of time. End of life, end of the universe, end of everything, end of the concept of death itself. And in this moment, Wally reminds himself, yeah, I'm pretty good at what I do. Wally Wast keeps right on running. The entropy at the end of time leads to another big bang. He literally watches the building blocks of creation play out right in front of his eyes. He's done it. He saved his family, and while he should be the happiest man alive right now, all of this means nothing without Linda. Without her, he doesn't want to live another minute longer. Max can feel Wally disconnecting from the Speed Force yet again. He realizes what he's done, that he's gone. He's lost to them. Turns out he was wrong. He dove headfirst into the Speed Force and pulled Linda back out of time. The two lovebirds talk and reconnect and try to make sense of everything that has happened while standing over top of Linda's grave. Then Wally pulls out the ring and does what he intended to the entire time, but Linda refuses to get engaged in a cemetery. So a half a second later, two of them are standing in Paris, where Wally tells her that he's already the fastest man alive, but he's hoping she will make him the happiest.